This is the Think Podcast for entrepreneurs, business owners, and real estate professionals. Insight, real talk, systems that scale. Think about it. This podcast is brought to you by Real Property Management, the largest single-family rental residence management franchise in North America. We help you protect your investment, minimize your costs, and maximize your income. Visit realpropertymgt.com to learn more.
And welcome to another great edition of the Think Podcast. Today we are with Brendan Rendo, who I've known for several years and has a really diverse background. He's going to tell you about that in just a second. But the topic that we're going to talk about today is how successful he's been in the Orlando market specifically and around Florida, but by knowing finance and real estate and marrying those two together, especially as an investment real estate specialist. And having worked with him in the past, I can tell you, as a personal endorsement, the guy is as good as it gets. And so,
thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. No, I'm so excited to have you on here today. I can't wait for this to roll out.
Two fellow geeks talking.
yeah, data geeks, right? And so the other thing that he knows is the numbers too, folks. So, Brendan, introduce yourself a little bit.
I've been in real estate for 30 years. Started out as a mortgage broker. Did that for several years. Got pulled into private lending, investing.
Yep.
Did that. Then switched over to the dark side and got my real estate license and top of the food chain now. But everything I've done has always been to learn more and to be able to answer questions. The most difficult thing I have always found, and I think it's maybe true in a lot of industries, is that 95% of the people don't know what they're talking about and aren't willing to go find the answer.
Sure.
That's the difficult part. And I think the reason why I've been successful is that if I didn't know something, I was going to find out. And that's what's got me pulled into the private lending, the hard money, the flipping, the investing, is because someone asked me a question and I was having difficulty finding an answer. So you had to dig. You had to make the phone calls. You had to research who does this type of lending, who does that type of lending, who actually, you get a lot of people saying they'll do it this way, but then you actually look at the details and it's like, nope, that's not the one we want to work with.
Well, I think that's one of the things that we try to combat here, right? The change of, because there are 4 networks right now, that the change of actually the conception or the idea of it to the reality of it, right? And so you got 4 networks out there right now running 24 hours a day about house flipping shows, but nobody talks about how the money works.
No, right? They don't.
And so everybody thinks that you're just going to go and pick up a house for, $10 and you're going to put in new toilets and a new backsplash in the kitchen. You're going to make $600,000 in a weekend, and it doesn't work that way.
It does not. Right? Does not work that way.
Right. You're so big in the Orlando market as, between.
I'll tell you one of the best things I ever did, and I still do it, and I do it purposely, is I do draw inspections for these hard money lenders. I love doing them.
So explain to the people, because there's people that are listening to the show right now, what a draw inspection is, because a lot of people don't even know what that is.
That's a great point. What a draw inspection is when you do a hard money loan and you've put together a schedule of your work that you're going to do this. You've budgeted this much for electric, budgeted this much for plumbing, budgeted this much for a new roof. The lender does not give you all the money up front.
No, they sure don't.
They actually, most of them that I've seen, probably about 85% LTV, somewhere in that area is a real number. So what happens is you go, you do so much work, say you put on the roof, you front the money. You're fronting the money, not them. You're fronting the money.
Listen to that, folks. You're paying. So you can't go into this with no money in the bank and just think that they're just going to give you a bunch and hope you turn it off. Listen to what he's got to say here. You're fronting the money.
Yep. So what happens is you're going to front the money for that, and your subcontractor is going to want to get paid as soon as he's done. There's no, I'll pay you as soon as they pay me the draw. Doesn't work that way. That will piss off your subcontractor, and that's the last time he'll ever work for you. So what they do is they'll call an inspection company. The one I happen to work with is Trinity. And then they call me they'll give me a schedule, and I have to go out and actually look to see if the work is actually done. So I will go through, take a number of photos. I've been doing this so long, I've done enough flips, I've done enough construction stuff that I know where percentage-wise you're actually done. And don't sit here and tell me you're, 100% on the roof when there's only, when the shingles aren't installed and they're just sitting on the roof. And they're like, oh, can't you just? I love that. Can't you just, put it? I'm like, no, I can't, and I'm not going to. I'm sorry. So then I'll say, okay, the line item budget may be $14,500 for the roof. So if it's done, I'll put 100% done. Then it goes back to your lender. The lender double checks everything I have, and then they release the money to you. Now, depending on your agreement, how much they release is all up to what your agreement and your loan documents say.
Yeah. So
it's it's just, I can just do this. You can do it, get into flipping with no money. Baloney. You gotta have some kind of a savings, some kind of a bankroll, and realize you're going to be floating some money.
Sure. With you, and that's, folks, that's a very important thing, because you've got to, there's a lot more than picking out your favorite wall color and looking at school districts and thinking that you're going to double your investment or whatever. You can't come into this game with no money. And I think that one of the things that you do really well is you also work with being a real estate agent yourself, right? You work with other agents, but you specifically work with investors to educate them. If there's one thing that I can say about Brenden, is he's a true partner to help you not only find the property that makes sense, because there's a lot of listings out there, and mathematically, because Brenden understands, I'll talk about you like you're not here right now. One of the things that he'll do is he'll help you, and he also trains other agents to do this, that deal specifically with investors, because the home buyer market's tough right now.
Yeah,
right?
I'll give you a perfect example. One of the gentlemen who I've done inspections for, fantastic builder, reached out to me yesterday because he's looking at a lot in Winter Park. And he's like, Brenden, what do you think I can, based on the house I just built, it inside and out, what do you think I can sell this house for? Well, it's about maybe a mile other side of Winter Park from where he currently is. Well, that one's selling for $3 million. If he builds the same one where he wants to build now, he's only looking at 2.5 top end. I actually went through last night and pulled all the demo permits in the area to see all the houses that have been pulled for demo in the past year within like a 3 or 4 block radius, and where their status is. So there's 6 other homes that are going to be roughly the same size as his, that are going to be being built at roughly the same time. They're going to be done quicker because he hasn't knocked his house down yet. So I let him know, hey, look, this is also going to be your competition, and here's where the prices are. And so I think top end you're 2.5. More realistically, you're about 2.3 is where you're going to be.
Sure, yeah. And what did he say to that?
He's like, yeah, you're right on my numbers. You're right where I'm thinking. I'm like, okay. So just more reinsurance, but I may get, there's where building that relationship is, having him reach out to me, is I also get a chance to present that house before anyone else does.
Well, I think now too, you and I have had many discussions about this over the time, but for many years in flippers, and I've flipped a ton of houses myself. I built 7, and if I if I went to build another spec house right now, I don't think I'd be doing another podcast, because my wife would come in and smother me with a pillow in my sleep. But I think on that, one of the things that you put your team together, and one of the ones that's kind of left out that people need to understand is they need to get with an exiting agent, because you got to look at the exit first. It always starts with the exit, because everybody's got big eyes on, oh yeah, we can make this much. Well, I think that the key team, a new one now, key player on this, is you've got to have somebody like Brenden. The people that aren't in the Orlando market, if you're in the Orlando market, call Brenden for sure. But you've got to have that person that knows the data and can tell you, because everybody's eyes are always bigger than their stomach.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I've got one custom builder, right?
And you can go, look, I'll give you the data right here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the case.
I know one custom builder right now. He's got probably 8 houses sitting that are $1 million to $2 million. And I'm just like, man,
just sitting, waiting to sell.
Just sitting. And I'm just like, I would not want that nut every month.
Wow.
His houses are nice, but he always overprices them. He's always probably $200,000 to $300,000 overpriced, and you can't do that anymore. You just can't do that. You've got to.
One of the things, and not to interrupt you, that I always appreciate on you, though, and I want people to know this, is that you're more conservative than most, right?
Oh yeah,
and so
realist. I'm a realist.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I'll
You know?
use that word. You're more of a realist, and for agents that are listening to this, that can marry the money with that. I think that if you can really become one of those agents like Brendan that can look at it from a realistic standpoint, to use his word, about the exit on this, to really get you out in a hurry, price it right, and know, because you don't build a house or flip a house in a weekend. It takes time.
No, a lot of these builds take year and a half to do. So you're
ground up, yeah, $1 million house, sure. Yeah.
With when you look at the permit time, the drawing time, and the amount of money you've got invested, you want to turn that as quick as you can, because everything's carrying cost, and that just eats into your profit. Well, what a lot of people don't realize too is you've really got to learn and know your lenders, because different lenders lend different ways. And you've got to understand. You've got to look at the details of how are they going to pay you out. What's their draw schedule? Are they going to work off of your draw schedule, or do they have their own draw schedule? Because there's a lot of times where I see draw schedules, and then I see the builders, and I'm like, okay, this doesn't make any sense. And the builders and flippers are always trying to front load, and the lender's always trying to back load. So it's a conflict. So you've got to work. You got to be able to work with your lender, and learn how they do things.
Sure, and I think that you educate those people, because you're one of the rare guys that can also bring the money to the table. And so many real estate agents, I think, are leaving money on the table right now, because for you agents out there that have been used to that get listings game, which is really tough now because people are sitting on 2% and 3% mortgages. And so if they list their house and move into something else, they're going to be, even if they have a FICO score through the ceiling and $1 bazillion in the bank, they're still going to double probably their house payment with the new interest rates that are out there, right? And you have the unique skill set in that you can bring the money to the table, because you don't have to have a secondary license. Talk a little bit about that and your specialty of being able to deal with investors. That's nice, being able to bring hard money, which of course you don't have to have a license. Right. So what you're doing is you're actually providing a turnkey solution for your investor. He's not having to go 6 different places to look for a solution. I can actually present 2 or 3 solutions to them. Well, we've got this lender who does it this way, we've got this lender who does it this way, and you got this lender who does it this way. We can present to all 3 of them, but let me tell you how their structure is, and why I think for this project in particular, I think this one will be better because he has a tendency to be a little leaner on his draws, on what he'll let us get away with. He's gonna reimburse us for permitting, where these two, you're stuck. You're gonna eat the cost of the permitting. There's little things like that you just learn over time working with different lenders. Well, they are, and then a way to also price these things effectively, so that even in small amounts of $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 that you can save somebody that goes down to their bottom line on profit. They're going to appreciate that, right? Because
you do. I just never understood the people who get greedy and try and make everything on one deal.
That's right. We don't retire on one deal.
No, folks, you don't retire on one.
If you're in this business thinking you're going to retire on one deal, do something else. I'll tell you.
It's all relationships, and referral business is my bread and butter. People calling back saying, "Hey, Brendan, I really appreciate it. You did a great job. Let's find another deal."
Well, so that brings up an interesting point. Because you're a data guy like me. Statistically, because you've been a lender, you've been on the conventional side, you've been on the private money side, you've been a real estate agent, you've been a flipper, you've done all of those things, which is rare, right? Because normally somebody goes into this industry and they specialize in one aspect or one vertical, right? But you are one of the rare guys that really truly has done it all. So statistically, how have you seen the shift between people that are looking for owner occupied especially in Orlando, because it's a hot investment market, to the people that come to you now that are saying, hey, listen, I need you to line me up the money and the property so that we can make some money on this. Either I'm going to flip it or I'm going to improve the property and turn it into a rental. What's the statistical difference on that?
When you mean statistical difference, like what percentage of people?
Yeah, that's how many people, because it used to be everybody was buying.
It's probably
conventional.
Both of them have dropped off. It's probably 50-50 right
Those
now.
Are 50-50? Okay.
Yeah, it's probably 50-50.
But during the COVID migration, it was what, 90%?
My gosh, you just had to you take a knife with you to an open house.
That's right. Yeah, knife fight, right, where everybody's throwing number raises.
So at least you know you had a chance. A lot of the people you're starting to see a lot of people who don't have a lot of experience as well.
Okay.
Who have seen other people be successful, seen other friends. I think part of it is also the HGTV generation, where they see and they made $200,000. I mean, they used to film, what is it, zombie real estate, whatever, here in Orlando.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, you never wanted to see one of his houses. They were horrible.
Well, and I think the profiting percentage on the stuff, and what people don't realize, a lot of these shows were filmed years ago that they're airing now, right? And a good majority of those television shows, folks, were filmed in Canada and then brought here to the United States.
Yes.
So yes, I mean, Chip and Joanna and all that stuff, and they kill it in Texas and all of that. But I want you to understand that there's a methodology to the television program for a half an hour of
the margins, the margins you think
get it dramatic and then wrap it all up with a big win at the end in a half an hour, and it doesn't always work that way. And I'm telling you,
oh my God, one thing,
over 70 houses myself, it doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't work like that, because expect the unexpected. Number one, you try and budget for it, but you're not always going to have it just right. And then it's just you expect you plan, but it's going to go wrong, and you're just trying to guess where is the wrong part.
Right.
And you have, again, realism. You have to set a realistic expectation. If I'm flipping a house that I got for $200,000, these days, I may be able to get $300,000 for it. So what am I going to do to get my margin as big as I can, but still provide a product that people are going to come in and say he didn't put lipstick on a pig?
Right. Well, I think that and the fact that agents, you guys need to hear this. Excuse me. Agents, you have to understand that if you bring the financing to, you can add to what you're making working with investment real estate people. And Brenden has expertly done that in spades, because he understands financing too.
Yeah. And it helps you when you're sitting down with your client and you're saying, okay, this is what our carrying costs are going to be. If we buy it at this is what it's going to be. If we buy it at this is what it's going to be. So let's make a rational decision. Part of our job, as agents, quite honestly, is to take emotion out of the transaction. It's numbers. It's math. That's what it is. And the math has to add up. And if the math doesn't,
side, it sure is. Yep.
And if the math doesn't add up, I've had investors like, I think we do. And you're sitting there going, no, let me show you the numbers again. Here, we know that we're going to have to pay 2 points up front. We know we're going to be carrying 10.9. We got 6 months in which to do it in. This is wrong. We know we're going to have to re-permit for this. So pull back a little bit and figure this is going to be our total cost, and you're willing to pay this. I'd sit and wait a couple weeks.
Yeah, I've referred people to you before that you have looked at the math and really talked them through of what the financing is going to be and how you could get them the loan for it, and you gave them the advice not to do it because it was a bad deal. Have called me and thanked me and said, "Hey, listen, we thought it was going to be a better deal, but after talking to Brenden, we figured out we didn't want to do that," and they were thankful because you understood the financing and brought the money to. You weren't just an agent on that.
Exactly.
You really taught them and educated that. So for you real estate agents out there, this is going to be a big part of that. What would be your final thought of where you think as an agent, right, that you can really benefit people? What's the one thing that some people might be overlooking? That's kind of
I truly think for a lot of agents it is not knowing the finance game, relying on someone else. If you've got a good lender, you got a couple good lenders, talk to them, spend some time with them. most people are happy to teach you, and they want you to know.
On the private money side, for the investment side, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, they want you to know so that when you bring the investor to them, they've already got a good idea. They're not re-explaining, they're reinforcing. There's a difference. They're reinforcing what you've told them, and that you're helping them line up and make the whole transaction go smoothly.
That's a great point. It's a beautiful point. How does everybody get a hold of you? Because I know they're going to go, well, I want to talk to him now. So tell them how to get a hold of
you can always reach me directly. My phone's 407-616-9019. I pick up and I return phone calls.
He does, folks, I'll tell you. And if he doesn't answer, he will call you back. I know that.
Yep, I will call you back. I don't believe in the texting, conversations back and forth. I want to talk to you because to me, that's still the best way. I'll hop on Google Meet with you in a heartbeat. I do a podcast every week. You can see it on YouTube at Homes in Orlando. So you'll know.
More time. So where's your podcast at? Real clear, one more time.
YouTube Weekly, and my YouTube is at Homes in Orlando.
Okay. So check him out, folks. I can tell you from personal experience, everything he just said, he can stand behind, and he's a great resource because not only is he an agent, but he can bring the financing to and help you understand the financing and really kind of what the methodology and the time frame, and most importantly, you agents out there, he can explain the exit because investor real estate is up, as he just told you about those numbers. And it's something that you guys are definitely going to want to add to your personal quiver. And for you investors, get with an agent that understands the exit, not just somebody that's like, oh, I can list it for you, right?
Time is money.
Time is money. So thank you very much, brother.
You're welcome.
Glad to have you again. It was always fun talking. I could talk to you all day.
I know. And, we'll do it again soon.
Yeah, we will. So if you want to look him up, make sure you check out his YouTube and give him a call. Thanks.
All right. Take care. Have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.